live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Woo! Hi there. Welcome. Welcome. It's Friday. I always think this weather's perfect after a Steeler loss. Isn't this perfect weather? Everybody's glum. Well, I didn't watch the game. I was dutifully watching the debate. And, of course, we'll be talking about that some. I'd love to hear your reactions to it. You can email me. You can call 412-316-3381. I just blew in. I almost didn't make it. That's why we're starting, actually, a few minutes late. Because I was stuck on a bus for a while. There was a lot happening on the Pittsburgh busway. There were cops everywhere. Cop cars zipping this way, cop cars zipping that way, county police, Port Authority police, Pittsburgh police. I would have thought it had something to do with this, the fact that a police officer was shot early this morning in responding, I believe, to a domestic in Stanton Heights. But my understanding of that is that I don't think anyone's on the loose from that. I don't know. But the first sign that something was awry was when I got to the bus stop and two police cars going opposite ways stopped, talked to each other. Then the one pulled up right next to where I was standing and rolled down his window and said, "Have you seen a black male in a gray sweatshirt and black pants?" I believe is what he said. And I said, no, I haven't. But and he looked at me like I wasn't telling the truth. I swear I felt like guilty immediately. Why is that when I just felt guilty. And then it's interesting because I was the only white person standing there at that bus stop, and he asked me, maybe figuring I'd be more likely to say something. I gave him nothing because I hadn't noticed anything, and this black woman standing next to me ducks in and says, "What are you asking for?" And he repeated it. And she said, "No, just got here, but," and then she said, "the P3 just left, and the P2 was before that, and she gave him information." And I thought, there, see, the white lady didn't, the black lady did. Hi, caller. Hello, caller.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm brand new. I was just trying to watch you this morning. I got laid off a few weeks ago.
Oh.
Trying to watch you, but I can't seem to get your audio. I see your picture. I like the purple blouse.
Well, thank you very much.
I don't know what's wrong.
Oh, I don't know what to tell you. Are you doing it through the Pittsburgh City Paper site?
Yes, I am. And so I was hoping to get your text. So I don't know. I'll keep fooling around with it. I used to enjoy you so much on the radio stations. But
thank you. Hey, listen.
This is the first opportunity I'm having, thanks to Governor Corbett. I have another name for him, begins with an F, and then the name Corbett.
I'm so sorry.
Well, cut back on social services, and this is the result. About 500 people across the state will be out of work because of him, and he sent the jobs to Boston. So much for the governor who likes to keep things in Pennsylvania.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, hey, I'll keep looking. That's all I can do.
Okay, my producer suggests that you, first of all, make sure your volume is turned up.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Secondly, maybe refresh the page and or
Okay.
start over.
Let me try that.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll keep plugging.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Next time you'll have a captioner or something across the bottom of the screen or sign language.
I don't know. You see, I mean, this is the kind of show where if you call that number, you come straight to me. That's
okay.
what happens.
I was hoping there was somebody in between, but
that's okay.
All right. I'll keep watching. I'll try and read lips.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
My best to you. Oh, God. She's the second person in a week that has told me they just lost their jobs. So even as we hear that things are improving a bit, there's still people, joining the ranks. And it's not a pleasant place to be. It's a very scary place to be. So anyway, I don't know. By the time a bus finally came, the police showed up immediately as we were getting on the bus. I assumed they were going to get on and look around. When I got on, I'm looking around. And do you know how many black guys were on that bus with gray sweatshirts on? I mean, come on. I easily saw about 6 right there. I sat down next to one. And I'm thinking, you poor guy. Just how hard it is. We're looking for a black male in a gray T-shirt and black pants. Well, hell, if that doesn't fit a description of about 1 million people. Oh, man, I don't know. So anyway, it was an odd start to the day, and here I am. So, the debate. Well, it sure bore no resemblance to the last one. And that was because both debaters showed up, as opposed to only one in the first presidential debate, and also because the moderator moderated and was engaged in and facilitated and kept it moving. And I thought Martha Raddatz was really, really good. She was, I thought, tough on both. There were follow-up questions. I thought she was fantastic. She's one of my big winners from the debate. Here's my thought, and it was my thought, maybe one of the first thoughts I had is I did wonder if Biden was grinning a little too much. I mean, I'm thinking, you got a great smile, Joe, and I know you think that what Ryan is saying is laughable, and it's your way of telegraphing that. But I wondered if that was a good way to sort of present himself, given that, here's my sense. Most people who watch these debates are watching them to cheer on their guy, their team. They're not there to have their mind changed. In fact, their mind is not going to be changed. So you watch the debate as like, it's a fisticuffs where you're wearing a certain party's colors. So my guess is easily 90% of the people watching the debate aren't there to get their minds changed. They're there to root. So why do these debates? Well, I guess the only purpose, really, doing a debate is to move people to your side. Consequently, to do the debate so that your supporters go nuts, yay, yay, oh, is not necessarily, it seems to me, the way to encourage people to come over to your side. I don't know. That was my thought. I, of course, was enjoying Biden laughing because I was laughing too, but I'm not sure that's the right thing to do. I don't know. Caller, go ahead, please.
Hey, Lynn?
Yes.
Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, you need to stop. Biden won. Biden trounced him.
Wait a
He
minute.
rolled all over Paul Ryan.
That's not my point. You're
No,
a
no,
partisan. I'm a partisan. I think he won, too.
Here's the problem, Lynn. Here's why Barack Obama's terrible performance in the first debate hurt him worse than George Bush's inept bumbling performance in the first debate against John Kerry. Our side does this to ourselves. We're reflective. We look for all these little nuances, and we're self-critical. They're not. Biden showed him up, and showed him up good, and the right-wingers know it. Even the talking heads on TV know it, even though they've invested so much time and energy trying to build up Paul Ryan as some sort of serious rising star of the right with these big adult ideas. Biden showed him up when he exposed Ryan's hypocrisy on the stimulus, with Ryan writing 2 letters requesting money for Wisconsin, stimulus money, saying they would promote growth and jobs. He showed him up when he, had Ryan almost admitting that a Romney-Ryan presidency would go to war in Iran, which, of course, is just what Americans want, another Middle Eastern war. He showed him up when, on foreign policy, again, about Afghanistan, where Ryan was trying to say, well, yes, we agree with the timetable the president set and withdrawing the troops, except that we really don't because we shouldn't have a timetable. He showed him up on taxes. He showed, when Ryan just could not, because he doesn't have them, talk about any details of all these loopholes and exemptions that they're going to close in order to make up the $5 trillion in new tax cuts, in addition to continuing the Bush tax cuts. I mean, he showed him up on abortion. He got him to commit to the fact that they would appoint anti-choice judges.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. If you ask me who won the debate, I don't think there's any doubt. I think Biden won the debate. I was merely suggesting that I wonder if you were. I tried to watch the debate as if I didn't, as if I were undecided. And
okay, well, the only poll taken of undecided that was done showed Biden winning almost 2-1.
That's the CBS poll.
Correct. That was undecided voters.
Okay. Well, then, okay. Never mind. Thank you for your call.
You're welcome.
Never mind. So, I thought that Biden's laughter. Oh, okay, I'm not going to get a word in edgewise here. I can see that. Hello, caller.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
Hey, Lynn. I think Biden won, of course.
Yeah.
But the best part of it was that Biden showed the difference between the two candidates, which I think is so important. Where Obama couldn't do it at the last debate, that was more important than winning it. He showed the difference between the two. You pick who you like. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye. No, on substance, on fact, I think Biden's laughter was the way he was responding every time Ryan said something that he thought was a little dicey in the truth department. And that was a way of telegraphing that to all of us in the audience. I don't know. I was just posing the question. I wondered. I was saying what my reactions were. I wondered if it was a bit much. On points, on debate points, I don't think there was any doubt who won. And Ryan, when I thought Ryan lost the debate, I thought he lost the debate before he even said a word. I thought he lost the debate when they both came in and they sat down, and the first thing Ryan did was lunge for the glass of water that was there and take a drink. And I thought that, that what it did was it projected nervousness. It projected dry mouth. It was a weak move. It's little stupid things like that telegraph all kinds of stuff. So, yes, on point, no doubt. I was a little troubled by the frequency of Biden's laughter, but, okay. I think it would have been more effective a few times, like, ha, 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 whatever, instead of a constant chorus of it. That's just my opinion. If this shows this is what our side does, I don't know what. Our side is thoughtful. That's something I'm supposed to not be. Come on. He won. He won. Doesn't mean a damn thing, as we know. It doesn't mean a damn thing. It's good because it bucks up our side that was watching. But I don't know. What else do I have to say about this debate? I just think that, again, I thought Raditz won, he won. I thought Ryan, and I'll give him this, for a first-timer, in over his head, in many ways, especially on foreign policy stuff, looked like a kid who was faking it. I laughed out loud when he started naming all those difficult places, place names and areas of Afghanistan and general thises and that's, and just to show, it's exactly, it just looked clearly like the kind of thing he'd prepped for to show how comfortable he was and this and that. But Biden destroyed him on Afghanistan. Destroyed him with his efforts to make it look like Ryan and Romney would keep our troops there longer, and in fact Biden saying, no, what we're doing, we're training the Afghanistan army to go in and into that godforsaken area. They can get killed. We're out. That would play well with any American. His thoughtful remarks about abortion were well received, I think, by women in general, because essentially what he said is, look, I wouldn't do it. I don't believe in it, but I'm not going to take my religious views and stick them on you, make them law. I'm not going to do it. It's not what this country's about. I don't know. So I thought that was pretty good. I thought, and I don't mean to, I don't want to belittle actually Ryan. I know we don't like him, I guess, and we don't like what he stands for. But I thought all in all, he didn't look like a stumble bum. He kept his composure. Listen, if you're an undecided voter and you're watching, first of all, I don't understand how you can be an undecided voter, but if you are and you're watching that debate, both men looked, and this is all superficial, but this is how people respond. Both men looked okay, but if you were listening and scoring it, I don't think there's any doubt that Biden won it. So I guess this is just, if you're a political junkie, and I didn't look at the Twitter stuff until after the debate, and then I looked at it, and that's where you see that it's all. What's the point of having these debates? That's what I kept wondering. What's the point? Because everyone who was tweeting, watching it, already had their minds made up, and through the prism of their minds already made up, they saw what, of course, they would see. I don't know. I'm so 2 down, 2 to go. That's how I look at it. I just I hate these things. I hate them. So the next, although I do like the fact that they were seated at a table, that puts them together in a way that's a lot more, I don't know. It's more personal. I think that if Obama had to be seated at a table with Romney, it would have been harder for him to disengage as much as he did. I mean, all three of them, could have held hands. They were that close. And there's something about the distancing of this, the podia at different, ends of the stage, and that makes it easier to, I think, probably dissemble and disengage. I'm not sure, but I really liked it better. So how come vice presidents get to sit down and presidents have to stand up like that?
I thought about that.
What's that about? What do you think that's about? And I guess the next presidential debate is different in format in that they'll be taking questions from the audience. And I would imagine that would mean that maybe this time we'll see Romney and Obama, sitting on stools? That's sitting on those high stools, right? I bet that's what it'll be next time. Who knows? I don't care. So I was watching MSNBC, what was it, Hardball, yesterday before the debate, and it was outside the venue in Kentucky. And Chris Matthews waded into the crowd there and was getting, points of view from a lot of students that were there and other people. And then he gets to this older woman who says he's a communist. Obama's a communist, she said. And Matthews said, well, why do you say that? Well, I mean, she couldn't, of course, answer. She said, just look, or, there it is. I mean, come on. And he said, do you think he's an American? And she said, no. He doesn't act like an American, and blah, blah, blah. And off he was a communist, and you guys, blah, 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 blah. And it was amazing, because there's this woman. She looked like a perfectly normal human being. She actually looked like somebody I know. And there she was. And you could tell there's no getting through to that woman. She thinks the president is not really quite an American, and she thinks the president is a communist. Wow. Wow. That's something. Reminds me of this lawn in Squirrel Hill on a pretty well-trafficked street, to say the least, Murray, that has 3 signs, and it's on a corner, too, and it has 3 signs, and it says, what does it say? I couldn't believe it. It says, keep freedom in America, or something like that. Keep freedom in America. Fire Obama. And there again, you look at that and you think, what are you thinking? What is it you guys are thinking? Well, I don't pretend to know. So anybody else on I get, were the rest of you watching the Steeler game? It's okay. Although I was telling Jess, I actually forgot, I forgot it. Then when the debate was over, I remembered, and I tuned in just to see what the score was. And I tuned in, and they were carting someone off the field. I mean, they were kind of carting him. They were like, this big Hulk was being helped off the field, and the announcer was saying something like, oh, my God, what are they going to do now? Because this one's done, this one's gone, that one's gone. And I thought, there it is. And I turned it off. I'm going to try not to become insufferable about this, but stop and think about a game that we're also into, in which incredibly powerful young men batter each other, essentially. And it is not unusual in the course of the game, of the play, on the playing field, to see these big, strong men knocked unconscious, bones broken, sometimes paralyzed, who knows what. Every once in a while, someone actually even gets killed, bloodied, and they're pulled off the field. Play gets stopped because this and that. And now, and then rather than sort of like saying, oh my God, you realize like 5 players have been carted off the field? We just accepted it. So of course, that's the game. That's the game. And then part of the game is how the coaching staff adjusts to losing this player and that player and this player and that player and who's going to substitute and how you plug in the holes and can they. And I guess you reach a point where you think, this is a game? I grew up with football. It's in my blood. But there's something about the way the game has evolved that has made it uglier. Just flat out uglier and bloodier and more dangerous, and we know it. So I've lost my taste for it. I wondered when this would kick in, when I would start to feel complicit. I was saying for years, we're all complicit. We're complicit in what happened to Mike Webster. We're complicit in what happens to all these guys. We are complicit. But it's like, I can't bear the thought that we kill animals to eat them, but hey, give me a steak. I want a burger. I know I'm complicit in that too, but that hasn't kicked in. I have not become a vegetarian. But I think I'm becoming somebody who can't watch football much. So, and the wonderful thing about it for me is I don't give a damn. Oh, I've got a lot of people saying there's no audio. Really? Yeah. Tom and Lois, Ed. Yeah, they all can't be screwed up here.
I just fixed the audio only, but the video's been working fine. The video and the audio's working fine. It must have been audio only.
I don't know. Jess doesn't believe you.
Not now. I fixed the audio.
You think? Somebody email me and tell me if now you just saying both audio and video are working.
Right.
Okay. Let us know if in fact that's true now. Try again. And well, why am I saying this? Oh, because if you're right, they can hear me now.
The audio has been working on the video fine, but if you're listening to the audio,
if you're listening to audio only,
it should be.
It's now fixed. Yeah. Why would you listen to audio only? You mean you wouldn't want to see me in my lovely, what is this color?
Periwinkle.
Periwinkle? Mm-hmm. In this lovely periwinkle. I don't know. Okay, guys, I'm going to take a... Good God, how did it get to be that late? I haven't said much. Have I?
Started late.
Oh, I started late. Okay, we got to take... Sorry, what up? We got to take a break. I'll be back.
Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com or call Lynn at 412-316-3381. Lynn Cullen Live will return in a moment.
Go to bergbargains.com for great deals on tickets to the Science Center, City Theater, History Museum, Carnegie Museums, and the top Halloween attractions in Pittsburgh. This week, get discounts on gift cards from Little Bangkok and the Strip, Olive Garden, and Nordstrom's. bergbargains.com. Local deals, local merchants. bergbargains.com.
Hey, again, just a reminder that the Literacy Council is in need of help. Help in the form of people willing to tutor, to teach someone how to read, to teach somebody how to read better, to even teach English as a second language. Fact is, you would learn a great deal if you signed up for this, because you're actually taught how to teach. And you'd be doing something wonderful, obviously. So if you want to feel good, I'd say do this. This sounds like a wonderful opportunity. And I'm going to give you a phone number to call the Greater Pittsburgh Literacy Council, and it would be 412-393-7600. Okay? Or check them out on the internet at GPLC. You can figure that out, Greater Pittsburgh Literacy Council.org.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Right. Hey, geez, thanks, you guys. Boy, did I get a lot of people responding. I can hear you now. I hear you, and I'm watching. Audio fine, video, audio, I have audio. Okay here, blah, 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 blah. And thank you so much. That is really nice. So, and thank you, Jess, for getting us back. You mean so all my brilliant remarks regarding the debate were unheard?
Not if they were watching.
Not if they were watching and could see my periwinkle top. Wait, and there's David wants to say something about the woman who called Obama. Here's David. We got to have David on the show. David is the one of the two political junkies. That's a great blog if you haven't checked it out. He says that is precisely what's wrong about the other side. This is in regard to the woman who says he's a communist. Though not a birther, she was convinced that Obama was a communist, but without any evidence whatsoever. I got the feeling that no amount of evidence could change her mind. Right, so you saw it too, David. I saw it too. No, you couldn't. You could tell. That was somebody who, that's what she had to believe. She believed it. She was sticking to it. And there's no, and yeah, David said it's faith-based politics on a number of different levels. That's true. You know, your faith in God cannot be proved. It's something you just believe. And so even though people can put in front of you all kinds of reasons why that's an absurdity, blah, 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 this and that, you ain't budging. Well, yeah. So, what's scary about that is that how do you deal with people like that? How do you deal with that? You can't. Wow. Hey, speaking of faith, did you see that the letter that Albert Einstein wrote to somebody, I'm not sure who, in which he clearly came down on the side of atheists, is on sale on eBay. Albert Einstein's letter saying there is no God is on sale on eBay, and there's already a bid of $3 million. Wow. The last time this thing was sold was just 4 years ago when it sold for $404,000. So whoever bought it for $404,000. Wow, that was quite a good investment. Turn it around in 4 years for minimally $3 million, because the bidding goes on until I don't know, maybe 10 days they have it up. It's still up, I know. Here's some of what Einstein said in that letter. The word God is for me nothing more than the expression and product of human weaknesses. He wrote this in 1954. He refers to the Bible as, quote, a collection of honorable but still primitive legends, which are nevertheless pretty childish. Wow. Well, that'll rankle a lot of people. Anyway, it's if you have more than $3 million, you could still get it if you'd want it. And there it is. I want to note the passing of a man I knew a bit back in the day when I was in television here at WTAE, and doing every once in a while some sports reporting myself. I did do halftime reports for the Steelers, the Steeler preseason games. And I had a lot of fun doing that. I mean, I got to travel with the team to Chicago. I got to run out onto Soldier Field with the Bears and the Steelers, and I was running on behind Refrigerator Perry. Remember him? So that dates it. Actually, because I was doing a story on him is what it was. But one of the folks that I got to know, because he hung out there sometimes and worked on the station as well as an analyst, was Beano Cook. This rumpled, irascible guy's guy, although I adored him. But I think he was very uncomfortable around women. That was my sense. And Beano Cook has died, and I'm so sorry to hear it. He was a national figure. He worked as an analyst on college football for ESPN and ABC Sports. He was renowned as the sports information officer, I guess, for Pitt way back when, sort of created that position and how you did it. Anyway, Beano, I remember thinking he was such a lonely man, but he had this love, and people loved him, and he was one of the funniest guys I knew. And to be around Beano was to laugh a lot. So I hate it when characters go. There just don't seem to be enough of them anymore. Wonderful characters. And the saddest thing is, no survivors. He had no family. It seems 25 years ago when I knew him, the only family, he had his mom then, but that was about it, Beano. So there was a cute story in the paper about something. This is why he was just brilliant. He had so many ideas about how to publicize the team and how to publicize things and how to get people's attention. He was brilliant. He was like a P.T. Barnum in that way. And he had this great idea of promoting the Pitt basketball team by getting a picture of what was then one of the team players, who was also an All-American, named Don Hennon. This would have to be back in the 50s. Don Hennon. And he tried to get Dr. Jonas Salk, the genius behind the Salk polio vaccine. He tried to get Dr. Salk, who was at Pitt, to take a picture with this basketball player from Pitt so that Beano could put the headline over it, "The World's Two Greatest Shot Makers." That's brilliant! It never happened. Salk wouldn't do it. I guess he took himself a little too seriously. He wouldn't do it. It would have broken, I don't know. Beano, in an interview with the Post-Gazette 6 years ago, said that picture would not have made every paper in the country. It would have made every paper in the world. And it's true. One of his more famous lines, he hated baseball. Loved football, loved basketball. Couldn't stand baseball, thought it was boring. And when the hostages were finally released in Iran, as you recall, it was when Ronald Reagan took over the presidency. The Iranians waited, and then bango. As soon as Carter was out of office, They let all those Americans go. And the commissioner of baseball at the time, Bowie Kuhn, said that he was going to give lifetime passes to any and all Major League Baseball games to all of the American hostages for life. And when Beano heard that, he said, "Oh, my God, haven't they suffered enough?" Beano. All right, can hear you. Stop talking about football. Oh, come on, you guys. Everybody's so... All right. Sokolowski says, my lovely dulcet tones are coming through loud and clear. Colette, Oh, Colette says, I have become sanctimonious about football. So you mean I can't ever talk about that again? Just because I make you guys feel guilty, then, okay, because I make you feel guilty, then I'm sanctimonious. Okay. I understand the potential there. I do. I don't think I've become sanctimonious yet. I'm simply giving my point of view. And if that makes you uncomfortable, well, then I think you need to take that up with your own conscience, she said sanctimoniously. Colette also said, we watched the debate. Biden kicked ass. It was way more entertaining than the presidential debate. And I bet it was way more entertaining than the friggin' football game, too, right? At least your guy won, right? Jeez. All right. All right, that's that. Why does my Twitter thing keep... You hear my thing going nuts? Bing, 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 bing. I just have no idea what's going on. Well, I don't know. Nothing apparent. Nothing apparent. Okay. Oh, gee, what is with the... I've lost all sense of time. It's now 1:45?
Yeah, we started late, though, remember?
We didn't start that late. We started a few minutes late.
Yeah.
All right, well... I have another break I have to take. I might as well take the break, and then we'll finish up. Everybody's screaming at me.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
Pittsburgh City Paper's annual Halloween guide is available now. Pick up one today for the most comprehensive listings of Halloween events in Western PA, plus Radio Tokyo, Mary Poppins, and News of the Weird. Pittsburgh City Paper, available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania, and on the web at pghcitypaper.com, and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
Got anything to do tonight? One of the things you could do is go to the Real Q Movie Festival, REELQ. That's formerly known as the Pittsburgh International Lesbian and Gay Film Festival. Kicks off tonight at the Harris Theater, right down here in the Cultural District. Yeah, we got culture here in Pittsburgh. We even have a cultural district. Anyway, that festival's going to be going through today, all the way clear through the whole next week, and then the next weekend. So it's like a 10-day festival all the way to the 21st of October. And there are so many wonderful films coming in. Feature films, long films, documentaries, shorts. There's a gazillion different films from all over the world. And I would think that you would want to check out what they are, because this is where the great movies are. This is where you see movies that later end up maybe going mainstream, but this is the indies. This is where you see these independent films that are usually the best. Usually the best. So check it out, and you can get the listings actually in Pittsburgh City Paper, or get them on the internet, where everything, as you know, is available, at realq.org. Real like movie reel, REEL,
For the millions living with COPD, breathing becomes a real struggle. COPD stands for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, but you may have heard of it as chronic bronchitis or emphysema. Over time, it makes it harder and harder to breathe until you feel like you're breathing through a straw. COPD is the 4th leading cause of death in the U.S. It kills 1 person every 4 minutes, and it took my grandmother. An estimated 24 million Americans are affected, but as many as half of them don't even know it. It's a race against time to spread the word about this serious disease. If you're over 35 and have ever smoked, you could be at risk. The good news is, there are steps you can take to improve your symptoms. I'm Danica Patrick, and I drive for COPD. Take action today to breathe better tomorrow. Join the movement at driveforcopd.com, take our screening questionnaire today, and talk to your doctor.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
Okay, and hey, Ray says, by the way, that he could see and hear us just fine on his iPhone the whole time. So that was up and working. He says while driving on 79.
It's dangerous.
Ray, Ray. No way you should be doing a video, Ray. Right? Chris writes, I couldn't agree with you more on Beano. What a character. We have lost so many of these characters. Beano, Myron, Doug. I can't for the life of me figure out why radio stations want these cookie-cutter personalities. They're so boring. We were so fortunate to have so many of these guys on here in Pittsburgh. Rest in peace, Beano. I hope you and Myron are having a good conversation about football today. I'm trying to remember if those two got along. I wonder. That'd be interesting. I know some people who would know. I don't know. As I think about it, because both Myron and Beano were at WTAE when I was at WTAE, so that was the gang, along with Savrin and Hillgrove and Steigerwald, and it was a funny crowd. Oh, God, were they funny. And I had the great fortune of sitting with the sport. My desk was with the sports guys. I don't know why, but it was. And that was the place to be. Funny. But Beano, oh, what a character. You're right. I don't know what happens to characters. Characters are, to me, this is sort of the, it's like the corporatization of everything. Gets rid of characters. If you think of, in the 50s when corporate world started to really, completely get into the warp and woof of the American fabric in every way. And you had, the man in the gray flannel suit, how we all became a certain kind of person. And there was a mold. And you didn't break out of the mold because you had to be a certain way, dress a certain way, blah, 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 blah. And I really think that has happened so much because then the total corporatization of media, they have formulas and they plug people into those formulas. They don't want personalities. I've learned, believe me, I've learned this, and I've learned this from people flat out saying it to me who are in positions of hiring, who gets hired. They don't want personalities anymore. You know why? First of all, personalities in and of themselves, personality/character, become a little too powerful. personalities are not easily controlled. If you allow a person with a personality, then there's a potential for losing control of your formula. Also, if they get a little too popular, guess what? They start demanding maybe a little more money. I once had a general manager of a certain television station say to me, I don't want anybody special. I want to be able to just plug anybody into any position. Just do the job. We don't need stars. He was muttering that there was only like maybe 2 stars allowed, and that would be an anchor person and maybe one other person. But didn't want him. You know why? Cost him money. Cost him money. This is the same guy who came into WTAE and started throwing every character and personality out the door. TAE used to be the station with personalities. I mean, just tons of them. He tossed them left and right. He also tossed every Jew, by the way, which has never been noted, but I note it now. So that's when you started seeing that attrition of Stan Savran goes, and I can't even remember some of the names of some of these characters, some of the reporters who were real types, bang, out. So that you're left with only this blandness. A Myron Cope, he would never be hired today. A Beano Cook, never be hired today. Ever. Someone like me? I don't know. I doubt it. They don't want personality. They want they want control, and they don't want surprises. It's just fascinating. And they also have no courage. They have no guts to go with somebody who's a little different. They're afraid of that too, I think. But there was a time in the 70s and 80s when television was booming and when all this crazy stuff was going on, and you did have wonderful personalities. So, anyway, there was something in the paper today, and I want to get this in because I had this horrible deja vu thing when I saw it. It's about our defense secretary, that'd be Leon Panetta, warning in some very scary terminology about our incredible vulnerability as a nation to cyber attack. And anybody who's paying any attention now knows that this is where the true vulnerability is. So that when I saw Paul Ryan last night moaning that you had to raise the defense budget because otherwise if you left it to the Democrats we would lose, what did he say, 140 cargo planes? I don't know. And I'm thinking, this isn't where defense is anymore. It isn't in all of that. Everything's going to be happening on the internet. On the internet. And what Panetta said is frightening. Because what he said is, we are not prepared. We have nowhere near the defenses we need. And you know what one of the reasons is? Because unlike a lot of other nations, those socialized nations, we have private ownership of utilities, of infrastructure. And consequently, private ownership does not have to necessarily give government certain information. In other words, a utility could get attacked, and if it could sort of keep it quiet and not tell the government, I guess it could do that. Panetta said we could have something like a cyber Pearl Harbor, something so unbelievable that it would not only kill people, it could absolutely take down our power grid. Think of the chaos. Think of the chaos. Your power grid goes, your transportation systems go, you have no ability the government has no ability to communicate with people. Media, how do they get the story out? Financial networks can also be brought absolutely to a halt. You can bring government to a halt. If you can do that with simply your brain and hacking computers, why wouldn't you do that? That's the warfare of the future. And it's already underway in what will be looked at in 20 years as very laughably primitive kind of ways. But China's up to it already. Russia's up to it already. We're up to it already. We've been doing that with Iran and God knows where else. And the thing is, you wouldn't even have to be a nation state to pull this off. In other words, you could be one genius, right? And you could, by flipping a switch, doing something, getting into the right computer, you could derail trains. You could make planes fall out of the sky. You could contaminate the water in major cities. And what would result, of course, would be a level of public panic, the likes of which we've never seen. And Panetta is saying we need to do something about this. In fact, there was a bill in the Senate that would be a little bit of a start to that. A cybersecurity bill. It was the Obama's administration's, one of its national security priorities. Guess what, guys? Oh, no, I know, you're way ahead of me here. The Republicans blocked it. And you know why? Because their overseers, the Chamber of Commerce, said it would cost business money. The kind of programs that the government would then be asking all of these corporations to institute, to secure us. Now, of course, if you had nationalized electricity and the sort of infrastructure, nationalized infrastructure, this would not be as much of an issue because obviously the government could just, we're going to do it. We're running this and we're going to run it right. But when you have a private sector controlling all this stuff and they don't give a damn about national security, they give a damn about their shareholder security. And when you care more about that, you cut corners. You don't want to add costs on in the event of a cyber attack from who knows who. It's a kind of insurance they're not willing to pay for. So the deja vu of this is I remember reading an article much like this, and it had to be about 20 years ago, 30 years ago maybe. And it was about the threat of terrorism, a terrorist attack on the United States. And it specifically singled out Islamists. And the story, as I recall it, was terrifying. And it came from, and I'm blanking now on the two senators who had put out this report. Gary Hart might have been one of them. Anyway, whatever the hell it was, out this report comes. It freaked me out. I thought, oh my God. Wow. This is something we should be thinking about. And I remember going on my show and talking about it like I'm doing this today. We got to pay attention to this. This is going to happen, guys. It will happen. We got to be ready. Didn't get a call. Never brought it up again. Never saw any follow-ups to the story. Nothing ever happened. Well, we know it's true, don't we, now? Right? So now we know 9/11 has a meaning to us, that date. Well, I hate to wonder what the date is. Is it going to be 3/22? Is it going to be 7/27? What's it going to be? The date of the cyber attack on the United States that paralyzes this nation, that shocks this nation, that panics this nation, that changes everything in this nation. And do you think anybody like a Leon Panetta who had warned about it will have any satisfaction in saying, I tried to tell you? I hate to tell you this. I have a deja vu thing going here. Terrorism, threat of terrorism, got to do something. Nothing happened. 9/11. Panetta's raising this now, and other people have too. Nothing. We aren't doing anything. There is no will to do it. There's no political will. The people don't get it. Until it happens, nobody gets it. So we're going to have to live through something horrific like this. We're going to have to live through something so terrifying, so unthinkable, because that's the way we do things. We react. We are not proactive. And any effort on the part of our president, like the Obama administration, to be proactive is stopped. By who? Oh, yeah. The Republicans, the party that likes to think that it's the party of national security. The Republicans. Stopped by the Republicans and by an indifferent public. I hate to end on that note for a Friday, but guys, mark my words. I hope I'm not around to be here to say, remember when I talked to you about it on that dreary Friday? God, I hope not. Hey, Monday we're going to have a positive show because we're going to start with some people who are actually actively working to make things better in Pittsburgh. And I think that's going to be a very interesting program. Hope you tune in. We got a lot of stuff popping next week, okay? Toodaloo.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.